everybody, and welcome back to Bedrock Survival with Fix. We are just about to touch down at World Spawn because it is episode 100 in time for the World Tour. Oh man, I am so happy. Oh, hello. I'm so happy that you guys could be here and join me for this. There's going to be a world download and a texture pack download. Please grab the texture pack. Please grab the texture pack. Things are going to look a little wacky if you don't have it here as we go around. So if you want to grab the world download, you can click it right in the description and apply the texture pack. This is a Bedrock world, should work on your Xbox and PC and Windows 10 edition mobile, everything. If you can figure out how to import the world from that, don't ask me. I'm no expert. So this is where we started. We're doing this world tour by myself today. I really thought about doing this maybe with a partner, and I just decided that I could really talk about things the way that I see them this way by myself, and show some things that maybe I didn't show when BJW was here for episode 75. So maybe for 125, maybe we'll bring a special guest back in again. So this is where I started. I started actually, I think literally on, I want to say this gravel block maybe, or one of these blocks right around here. And the very first thing you do is you dig down. So we dug this mine down here, and I think it worked out really well. In fact, actually, one of my most viewed videos on my channel over the last probably 4 to 5 or 6 months is actually this episode. It's the beautiful underground farm episode, which this little tiny guy. Okay, look, beautiful. I don't know about beautiful, but it's nice. It's nice. I like the alternating diorite granite ceiling tiles. And now, whenever I built these things, I was just starting to learn how to play with the vanilla texture pack. Again, after many years of using custom texture packs. So a lot of this stuff was like, ooh, wow, diorite looks like that, and wow, granite looks like that, just because I'm not used to it. So this is my little bitty starter mine. Not a lot to see here, except for right over here, and this isn't a lot to see here, but I did make a AFK room here, so you could hide out in here, take a little break, relax, and let the crops grow, because I was often in need of paper, and so it just wasn't growing. Funny enough, I actually broke into this by accident from my, I guess, one of my main mines over here. I broke in and was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It all connects up. But we're not headed there yet. We're going to go in kind of chronological order in this tour and just kind of try to see everything, try to see as much as we possibly can. This is a survival world, if you are unaware. I try to show most things in this series, whereas in some other series, you know, you might do a lot of like time lapses and a lot of off-camera build. I try to show most building. Now, I don't actually build necessarily on camera, but I try to show most developments. Maybe that's the better way I should really word it. So the next thing we come up here is a little tiny auto AFK chicken cooker, which, you know, I bet there's no chicken. Yeah, there we go. That's all the chicken that's ever produced. Unfortunately, we built this thanks to the help of Conniption Fit, one of our good YouTuber buddies who came in to help us for an episode. And then basically we stopped working in this area. You're going to see this levitating pathway a lot here. It's an ongoing project to build like kind of an overground, I don't know what you call it, like a medieval monorail sort of system that's just going to connect up the whole world. And I think it's going to look really cool. But as of right now, it's just a floating thing. So just try to ignore it. It doesn't look that good now. I know, I'm aware, but yeah, we'll get there all in time. All right, next thing, this cow pasture. Look, this cow pasture is nice. Again, very limited resources at the time, but I just need a lot of leather for basically an enchanting setup, pretty much. So yeah, so I just bred a bunch of cows out here, and for the most part, they don't escape. It looks, I think I have at least a block and a half of stone pile to fence them in the whole way around. I'm not totally sure. If you're wondering about the shaders, these are parallax shaders, and yeah, I really love them. I play most episodes in the series with them on because I feel like it gives you the custom skies, it gives you the really beautiful water, and yeah, I just think it's super nice. Look how nice. Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, then we get up here, and I kind of came to the conclusion that I needed another storage room because I was making the hall back there. Doesn't seem that far until you just constantly need it. So I just made another little storage room. This is another little mine too. I think you can fall down. Yeah, there's like a little ladder and stuff. Not a lot here, just a little storage. I tried to make it look like a storage vault kind of, you know? And one of the most recent things I did is I actually connected the entire world with nicely done roads. Before it was just sort of some cobblestone with some torches on top just so I could get from place to place. This world consists of essentially two different parts of the same kingdom. This is more of the agricultural district, or will be as we continue to build it up, and then the other place is more of the castle and the city and stuff. But so I want everything to be completely connected, and yeah, so I made sure that there are lanterns lighting up and fences and stuff. Well, we're gonna get down there. You see that monstrosity? If you haven't been checking out every episode, it's coming along. That's our custom mountain. That's where we're headed, but we're gonna walk there. We're not headed there yet because there's a couple other things I want to show you here. If you follow down this little path, you see a curved bridge. Boy, oh boy, this was a surprisingly tough little build to build a little curve on the bridge, but it came out okay. And then we get to a little tiny village. And this isn't a procedurally generated village. I just want to make a nice little one, you know, a nice little tiny little village. And also, side note, little sheep farm just for some wool. And right now I needed white and red, so I colored them that. And yeah, it's a cool little village. Now, unfortunately, I had not yet made the decision that all of my interiors were going to be done, so these aren't. But all the future ones are, so I'm going to, at some point, come back and do these, because I want to have every single house have a fully fleshed out interior, and maybe a shop, maybe a storyline, maybe a name, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to get to all that all in good time, but for right now, that still has to be done. You go across this little bridge, and you get to a nice little farming area. I think this area turned out really nicely. Just a small little farm, because it sets up what's going to be eventually one of the two brothers' castle. The storyline that we have going on in this world is this kingdom is called Two Brothers. There are two brothers. Each one sort of runs half the kingdom. One lives in the castle over there. One lives in the castle over here. And they're friends. They're brothers, but they at times can be a little bit of rivals. Maybe not to the point of outright war, but maybe at the point of like economic restrictions or you know, trying to get the best deals and all that kind of stuff. If you go over here, you find this little unfinished church still like 50 episodes later, still unfinished. But if you go in here, what you're going to find is you're going to find my first source of XP, which is the first spawner I found in this world. And unfortunately, it was a zombie spawner, which is kind of a drag. But if you go right down here, there's zombie spawner down here. They go in there and they go over here and they fall, and then they just die. Hello. Oh, and sometimes a little one escapes somehow. I think he just spawned. I don't think he escaped. And yeah, at one point, this was my only XP. It was really hard to get up to level 30 for enchant. I had real difficulty for that. So basically, it drops them up and knocks them down to like one hit kills. Not a lot to see here. Eventually, I will come back and finish up this chapel whenever I come back and work on this area again, which, you know, at some point we'll do. And there you can see the raised path the raised cart system is gonna come over here. I guess, I don't know what you call it, like a passenger train system? I'm not sure. Well, if you walk over this direction, this is probably the very last thing I did in this area before I decided I wanted to work with villagers. Well, up there actually is. So down here, I had my buddy Dom Quantum come in and help me try to build an AFK fish farm. And man, it was really hard. And we tried to build it, not AFK fish farm, but like a completely passive fish farm. And the way we tried to build it is that there's just some water streams, and basically any fish that swim near there will just get sucked in and just float. Oh, did one just happen? I think he escaped. Anyway, the idea was going to be that the water streams would push them down in there, and then they would just suffocate, and then they'd get all their drops. Totally doesn't work. I thought for sure it would work. It seems like it should work. Yeah, it doesn't at all. Not at all. And over here is my first stables that I did in this world. Tiny little stables. Basically, I was riding this horse around named Fasty. I'm not sure where he ever went off to. But I was riding Fasty around, and I just need a place to drop him. Okay, now here's the very last thing I did in this area before we moved along. And my chair is so creaky. I'm sorry my chair is so creaky. I need a new one. Sugarcane Farm. I didn't yet have an Elytra at episode 75 last time we were here, so I didn't really need sugarcane. I need it mostly actually for probably paper more than anything else. Can't sleep. Nope. But yeah, I made it, and then we're not here anymore. And the way it works is these things. What are these things called? The sensors or something. When do they fire off? Whenever one of these goes up to 3, and then it knocks all of them off. You know, it works fine. It's just that I have better means, and in an area where I am more often, so the crops actually grow. So that's a good thing, you know. last thing over in this part before we go over, oh man, that looks so cool over there, is the little mini wizard enchanting tower. So a wizard here, a dark mage lives here, and he's not evil, he's just a bit of an outcast because people are maybe a little bit frightened of him and his mysterious powers, and this is where I can do all of my enchanting. So you got this little place here, and yeah, not a lot. I mean, not a lot to see. It does go up, but at some point I do want to work more on the interiors here as well. But this works fine. This is my only enchanting place, and I can come here and get my enchants when I need. It works just fine. Well, let's take a little fly now because this area is wrapped up. I do have another path, but I think now that we have actual paths connecting this whole kingdom, I think that we should actually walk. So if I had my horse, I would take it, but I don't know where fast he went. So here we are. We are walking across this bridge. This bridge I just did last episode, I think, and it needs a little detailing, perhaps. Maybe now that I see it kind of in this light, it's a little plain, but it works all right. It's from the side, it's actually a little bit more detailed than you might have guessed, but from the top, it's a little bit boring. So if you walk over here, let me take you through a couple of the things that I've been trying to do. I've been trying to build a nice dense tree cover around the path. And I purposefully left a couple of them undone because I want to show you how I've been doing it and get your thoughts on it in the comments. Okay, so get your typing fingers ready because I want to know what you think of the path work. Not yet, it's coming. It's just past this little fishing village, but you can see I did actually detail out the whole path. This area still needs some fences and some lights and stuff, but I've taken on a new way of doing this where I'm starting to add in bushes along the side of all the paths. I kind of picked that from our friends over at Articraft who do it. Their path work is just amazing. It's so incredibly great and it just makes you feel completely immersed in the world, and that's really what I want to get to. I need a little stair here, so I just whipped up this little guy pretty quickly here. So a little stair, a little detail, looks fine. And then once you get up here, this will be a tunnel. Right about here, probably right where this, the reason I didn't do a bridge here yet is because there's very likely going to be a tunnel. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, so I wanted to wait. But you're going to walk through a tunnel, and you're going to have a choice to go either out this way, which is going to head over to the White Cliffs, which I love that area, which we're probably headed there next. Or you can go this way, and you're going to go, again, through a tunnel, through the mountain, and say hi to that pillager who's been here for so long. He's been here he's like my world mascot. So you get to this little fishing village part of the town, and I really like this. I like this area. I tried to go with a place that maybe gets flooded fairly frequently, so that's why there's not any grass, because it's just all mud and dirt and stuff like that. And they built their roads out of mostly wood because of to keep your boots clean whenever you're walking through. And I think it turned out really nicely. I think it's not done yet. There's a lot of room for more houses here. You can see all of this stuff there. We're gonna put in probably like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 more houses here. But I think it's really nice. I think it turned out really, really well. I have 5 clerics right here, which I can use to trade for ender pearls or cleric stuff in this little church. And I have utilized them. Mostly I utilize them to get to the end for the most part, really. So that's that. We're gonna get to the mountain in just a bit here. But first, let's take this little road right along here. We're gonna go check out the White Cliffs. I love this part of the world. I think it might be my favorite part right now. Currently, maybe it's because I just did it, but I just think it's just super cool looking, and it does rely on a texture change that I made. I have retextured end stone. I just made it white, like gray, light gray probably. It's because our end is supposed to be the moon, and I thought, well, the moon isn't like this weird yellow end color. It's light gray, so I just took the color out of it, left the texture the same, just decolored it, and I think it's one of the blocks that we use here. So if you're not playing with the texture pack, this is going to look not so great. But here I wanted some big, nicely landscaped crop fields here, and these are really well done. I think this whole thing is a fake ground. Like the whole thing isn't real ground, right? But you can see the cliff texture. It's diorite, white terracotta, which also I recolored their terracottas, and I think I used the John Smith color scheme for the terracottas. I just really like it. It's a little bit more true to actual color, I think, than the sort of off clay color that you get in vanilla. So yeah, it's diorite and white terracotta and end stone. And yeah, I think it's really cool. And if you walk over this way, you can see sort of the scope of the fields and yeah, I think it turned out nicely. But the best part of the cliffs is probably the seaside cliffs. And I think the reason why we're going to go with it as why it's white is because of these all the snow and stuff here. So the idea is, see all of that snow over there? That the winds blow this way and they blow snow and salt water and ice and they hit the cliffs and they just pelt it all relentlessly. And it has since made these cliffs just very whitewashed, like very, not great. I just think they look super cool. It looks super cool. And also these cliffs they're so big and they're so steep that they actually protect this land and make this land really fertile farmland. So I think that worked out really, really, really nicely. Eventually what we're going to do up here, this is our villager trading hall / iron farm, and it is awesome. It's awesome. This is a proud design, and it's just fantastic. There's 30 villagers, and they, as you see, they've all been cured. You might think, well, no, actually, all that happens is one of these two villagers, the zombie villager, you cure him. It takes about 5 minutes. He's almost instantly turned back into a zombie by that guy up there, but in that 1 second, all of these villagers see, and you get the discount again. So every time this starts to climb back up to the big expensive one, then you just cure him one more time, and he's back. And I have all my stuff, all my trades, all my stuff here, like fortune books and efficiency 5 books, infinity books. I didn't really need that many infinity. Feather falling, probably enough forever. Mending, I'd like to keep getting mending because if something happens to my villager, I would like to have a big surplus of those, as well as Silk Touch. Mending and Silk Touch and Unbreaking 3 and Efficiency 5. Those are the big ones, right? And here are just emeralds, all this stuff. And then I've been also trading with some of the guys that give nice interior stuff. Like every time the bookcase trade is open, I take those. Or bottles of enchanting, or ender pearls, or glowstone. Bells, lanterns. Every time I take all the lanterns because I use them so much. It's nice to just have them for free and not have to craft them. So this area over here that you can see is going to be on the other side of this wall. Imagine that there's a wall there, because there will be one day. This is going to be an enchanted forest right here. So because I can't use any villager trading stations within 100 blocks, so I can't really build any more city over here. So we're going to make this area right here an enchanted forest. And I think it's going to be super cool. Like I'm thinking like high fantasy, maybe really colorful, maybe kind of dark, maybe haunted. I don't know exactly. And what we're going to build up here is we're going to build a haunted house. Yeah, I've always wanted to build a haunted house, and this is going to be a haunted house. I think it's going to be awesome. But we'll probably do that in the month of October because, why not? All right, so let's follow this path over this direction, and we will check out some more. I also did little mini cliffs, like right there, of the same white sort of texture, just to make it look like it's all around, so you can see it from every side. You look at the white cliffs area, you're seeing white cliffs, I guess. So yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool section. I can't wait to have little houses dotting along here and really framing the whole thing in. That'll be really nice as well. But here you can see that I connected this area with the other, and finally we're getting a good look at the mountain. Oh man, this project is so big. It is so massive. It's going to take a long time. I've been digging the last probably 3 days, a lot underneath the mountain. I'm going to show you that in a little bit, because under the mountain is going to be a build to itself. But we're not going to be there for quite some time. But I would rather dig when the sun is there than when it's completely underground. Also, that's where I'm getting all of my stone for the mountain. So this is the most recent house I built, and this is basically just a storage house for this area. I was just working in this area a lot and just needed storage, so I built a little house. It doesn't yet have an interior, though it will in time. And that brings us to what I'm working on right here. Okay, you see these guys right here? This is going to be my idea. I'm going to try to make custom trees this way. And look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll live with it if it doesn't. But my goal is that if you grow up 4 or 5 or 6 trees, oak trees like this, and then you completely take the trunks down and then you make a custom trunk, you should get something cool. And let me show you the ones that did work. See, this one's still growing too. Here, I think it's super cool. So if you walk this direction, check it out. What do you think? That's just like five or 6 oak trees built. And then all I did is I took out some leaves. I added some leaves on the bottom. And I think it's a really cool look. I think it's really, really immersive. I feel like it gives you that look. See, here's another one. I'm waiting for that last one to grow before I make it. But I feel like this gives you that look of like the right size of scale. You know, oak trees themselves, the scale is too small. And even when you get the big ones to grow, the scale is still too small. So I thought these look a lot more like trees that I see outside in my yard anyway, you know? All right, let's take a little sleep and then I'm gonna show you up into this part. This area right here is my villager breeder. It works great. I just need it to slow down a little bit sometimes because right now I don't need villagers and hopefully I won't need villagers for a while. You know, I've not ever really played with villagers in Minecraft before. And, this was the first time, so I've had to make them and kill them quite frequently while I'm sort of learning how to do it. Because if you've never played villagers, you know, the mechanics, they're a little tricky. And so, yeah, it works great. And then they just flow down this little aqueduct sort of area into like a holding pen, and then I can sort of bust them wherever I want with my minecart system. So yeah, this is just a little farming area. This will be all surrounded by houses. The idea of this is going to be that it's not going to be a big farming area. It's just going to be, you know, just like a couple houses working together to farm up some crops and stuff like that. So the city will actually just continue all around. No big deal. This area though, right here, I am very proud of this area. This is my custom river that I made, and I think it is fantastic. It actually flows for one thing, which I think is a really cool thing. Secondly, you can see, maybe it's because of the shaders, it probably is a little bit because of the shaders, but it just adds so much because I made it cut through, right through the city. There was nothing here. This at no point used to be a river. But yeah, it just adds so much. Like whenever you have to go across bridges to connect the city, you feel like oh, there's a river there. Well, there wasn't. And eventually what we'll do is we'll work on a little bit more cliffs there. But yeah, I really like the river. We actually have two, and I'll show you that in just a quick second. But let me talk about these houses that I've been working on. What we do is we do like 1 or 2 episodes of just building houses for the city, and then we'll do like a big project, maybe like working on the mountain or some big landscaping or farms or whatever, some stuff like that, you know? And the idea is going to be for this city, I want there to be a shop for every item in the game. That's the idea. And if at some point we're going to start writing them down because it is going to be very confusing here in a little bit. But you can see like right here, this guy sells some sort of slabs. Let me see what it is. Andy's oak slabs and no more, because they only sell oak slabs. And if you walk in here, you'll see they just sell oak slabs, and all these shops are completely furnished, including upstairs bedrooms and little balconies, and you can see, yeah, it's completely done even up here for some storage and stuff. Yeah, so you know, that's one of the ideas that I want to have is I want every shop to have a purpose and sell one item in particular and have a fully furnished item. So if you comment on a video, there is a decent chance you're going to shop named after you, because there are way too many shops for just patrons and stuff like that. A little tiny church I decided that I needed. Here, not a lot to see here. I love that. That's the pink glass texture in the texture pack. Oh man, that's nice. I love that one. But if you walk around the back, you're going to see some graves here, and the graves are for my pets that I've had in my life, and I miss them like crazy. This is for Cappy, my Captain Insano cat that I had in college. This is my beloved dog, Sydney. She was the best dog in the whole world. Sorry, all you other dogs. Sydney was the greatest. Lucky, my cat I had my entire childhood, pretty much. Barney, who was a dog my parents had basically when I was very young. I don't remember a whole lot of Barney. And Ozzy. We had Ozzy. As my dog Sydney was aging, my wife and I decided to get maybe a friend, and we thought a friend would help her sort of play and stuff, and yeah, it didn't go well. So we only had Ozzy for a few days, but Ozzy was a cool dog, and unfortunately didn't really get along. Well, Sydney didn't get along with him, so we had to take him back, sadly. But this is a little blacksmith area here with an interior up there, and yeah, the houses are cool. I really like the way the city is developing, how it feels like there are dead ends and little roundabouts and all this stuff just filled with houses. And I've been recently sort of making some little crop areas. Like every time I see an area, I think, what can I put here? Like if I lived in this house, what would I put in this place to you know, to sustain my family, and a lot of times it's crops. So we've been doing a lot of that stuff. These are actually just houses. These are just where people live, just little places with, you know, maybe a dining room, a kitchen, a bedroom, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, just little houses just for people. Most of the houses here are shops and houses, but we figured the farm workers and stuff would not necessarily have their own shops. They would actually just be living in houses. So we thought they would live somewhere. And you see, let's see, you see one of the two waterfalls. You know what? Let's fly up and get a bird's eye view of this place. All right, so this is the city of Two Brothers as it stands now. And it is coming right along. You can see how many houses we have in here. I want to get about, I don't know, 100 times as many houses in the city at some point. But yeah, you can see the scale of the mountain and where it's going to be with time. And of course, after we get all the stone put in, we'll put in a lot of snow and greenery down on the lower parts, and some custom trees crawling up the mountain, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's cool. There's the White Cliffs area. That's really cool. But that brings us to the castle. It's time to go check out the castle. You can see the custom waterfalls here. They're really nice. I got to work on these cliffs a little bit, but yeah, I really like it. So if you come up here, you're going to enter the castle zone, and I really like the way the castle is developing. I got to tell you, there's no castle here yet, though. It's just castle walls and a storage building. This is a little barn. This is my first storage building, and a map of the area. It's not been updated in quite some time, so a lot of these places, oh yeah, need to be filled out. But the only thing I've built here yet inside the castle grounds is the storage building, and I really love it. But I need to actually start working on the castle. I think we're going to start that maybe on episode 101, I think, because I really want to get into working on the skyline, working on the big builds and things like that we have. But yeah, I like this little splash of color for the little flower gardens here, and this little courtyard area worked out really nicely. And yeah, it's just some really nice twists and turns to get up into the storage building where you come into this. And this is where all of my storage in the whole world goes. Over here is kind of all the mining stuff. Over here is kind of, well, everything else. And yeah, this is pretty much, this is where I get all my stuff. There's the nether portal for now. The nether pathway it's finished as far as covered in ice, but it doesn't have a lot of like interest. It's just, you know, it's just ice that has some sort of wall up so you don't get blown up by creeper or by gas, and that's pretty much it. All right, let me show you the oh, you know, there are some underground farms. Let's just peek down and just take a look at them. So if you go down here, you'll see there are 5 layers of underground farm. And the idea was that these would always be loaded, which they are for the most part. So they're always fully grown, essentially, like, and a kelp farm that's completely busted. It doesn't work at all. It's complete garbage. Kelp doesn't grow in Bedrock. Like after a while, it just stops growing, and it's a known bug, and it stinks. So the kelp farm is worthless. Anyway, so yeah, so that way I can just always get crops, and I can trade, because how I used to repair my tools was with villager trading, primarily farmer trading in this building right down here. So if you go to this building has not worked out well. The problem is in Bedrock, villagers will drop their trades after a while. They'll change their trade station. Like they just go to a new station. So I used to have all these guys penned up. And I used to have each one behind his own composter. And like these were all beetroot guys. And then I had all I don't know, wheat guys over there and carrots over here and stuff like that. And what happened is this dude would just all of a sudden randomly start linking to that station. But because he couldn't touch that station, means he would never ever trade again. And so I just let them all out, and like whatever, they're all out. So I almost never traded these guys anymore because my iron farm is so much better, because those guys in the iron farm are bobbing in water, and somehow someone discovered that if in Bedrock, if villagers are bobbing in water, that they won't drop their trades. I have no idea how that works or how it was discovered, but it was, and it works. So far those guys have not needed a refresher yet. This is the big dig that I've been working on. I've been working on clearing this whole area, because underneath here, once I get this whole mountain filled in, there's going to be a big build here that is going to cover my my gold farm, which I just built not too long ago. The gold farm works freaking awesomely. It is so good. It's so good. And all you have to do is, I used to have this thing. It was really complicated. It made it for a short pulse and stuff. And then I realized I could just do this. and that works fine to start it. And then let's take a look at it and see how it works. It's so fast to repair tools. Yeah, they just start flowing down here by the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It looks like actually I was on it quite a bit earlier. It looks like maybe a couple of them might be out of flint and steel, but yeah, you can just see, look at them just fall. Then I have a trident killer here, and so I'll just stand next to it, hold my tool, and it gets repaired in about, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes. Maybe it's very, very fast. But I got to show you something I found just yesterday when I was digging here, because I've done a lot of digging. Basically, I've dug in the last day from this torch the entire way to that wall down to this level. And so it's only maybe between 4 and 6 levels, probably 4 and 10 levels deep, but it's a real pain. But look what I found. Oh, I'm down here now. I found a skeleton spawner right here. I'm so lucky. There's a skeleton spawner right here. So eventually this will become a really nice bone farm. I'm happy to have found that. I can't believe how lucky that is. It's like, it's in the perfect place. It's in the perfect place at the perfect depth. So that's super, super cool. Speaking of luck, in this seed, I came to build here because there was a village. It was the closest place to spawn where there was a village, and so I wanted to work with villagers, so I just randomly picked this spot, and like the scenery was nice, there was a nice ocean and all that kind of stuff. But while I was mining one day, I wasn't really thinking very much about it, and I broke into some mossy stone brick. And like, what the heck is this? It was an end fortress, or what do you call it? No, not an end fortress. Yeah, fortress, right? It was a fortress. And amazingly, I found right here, there's an end portal. So totally coincidentally, I found an end portal right underneath my city. It's so lucky. I can't believe, none of these worked. That was an experiment that didn't work. And let me show you the end. So after episode 75, the last world tour, I started building this. And the idea is that there are aliens that live on the moon in this world, and the aliens are studying the people. There we go. Oh boy. Whoop. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, well that was fun. So the aliens are studying the people, and we're gonna have some like studying areas, but they're obviously very advanced. So the aliens have this area right here. Why don't we just put this on? Lesson learned, right? Yes, lesson learned. Okay. So yeah, so this is their little area of just all the stuff that they do, and their alien sort of moon base, which I think is really cool. And if you'll see, there are colors. So yellow is going to be for like engineering and power and all that kind of stuff. If you go over here, green is going to be for all of my nature and all that kind of stuff. And this is probably the last thing I did on this area here. There's a little bit of a tree farm here for the wood needs. Here's where I'm getting all my jack-o'-lanterns. It's 64 blocks long and works well. I have to have it too tall so the Endermen don't trample my crops. And lastly, I wanted a big bone meal farm. That's what I really want. I want a huge bone meal farm. So I have this fairly large cactus farm. I think I might end up building more or taller or more of them, because it's not even as big as it is. It's not quite as fast as I wish it were. So if you go over here, then you can drop down to the bottom level, and there is right here just a couple, and we're gonna make this look super cool and futuristic and stuff. But for right now, it's just collecting bone meal, because all the cactus that gets dropped in here right now turns into bone meal. So it's just a nice way. Also, I get green dye, but honestly, I probably already have enough green dye for however long I'm ever going to want green dye. But if I need more, I can just turn off those hoppers and the regular cactus will just flow. But yeah, I have well over a chest of cactus, and that's probably enough for quite some time, especially because green's not a primary color of building out here. Last thing I've been working on here is just getting ready. Well, okay, so here's the thing. I want to be able to fight the Ender Dragon and have him not destroy my entire moon base, right? Because we're building here, and I've only beat the Ender Dragon one time. So I want to be prepared to fight him or the Wither again anytime I want. So what we have is we have a place here where I can do mob griefing true, mob griefing false, using a command block underneath. And, you know, whatever. If you're really bummed that that's a real big cheaty move, okay. But I'm, you know, trying to be pretty upfront about it and just show you why. And because I'm going to build all around here. And whenever you're fighting the Ender Dragon, I don't want to break all the blocks of my buildings and stuff. So yeah, it just makes the most sense. So yeah, moon base is cool. All right, and we're back to spawn, and this is a great place to sign off. So I hope you enjoyed the world tour, episode 100. 100 world download. Grab it. You can check it out. You should spawn right here beside me. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will put all my stuff. Let me grab a chest. All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will put a chest right here, and I will put all of my stuff right up here on it. So if you want to walk around the world in survival mode, then that is probably, you're probably want to grab this stuff. You know, it's not the greatest gear ever, but it's okay. It's feather falling 4 protection. You know, it's fine. It's good enough. And there's some rockets there. I wish I had more to give you. Sorry, I don't. But at least you can fly a wee bit. If you want more rockets, just you know where the stuff is. Oh, I didn't tell you, but there's a gunpowder farm. There's a creeper farm underneath the mountain, up very tall. So take the ladder. You'll find it. Okay, that's gonna do it for me anyway. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. And we'll see you all next episode 101 for Bedrock Survival. Lots of fun stuff on the way. Okay, bye everybody.